South African artist Marlene Dumas' 1997 painting titled Miss January has set a new world record for the highest price sale ever by a living woman artist at an auction in New York, selling for over 13 million US dollars. The Cape Town-born artist's 1973 piece, Love Lost, sold for over 7.2 million rands locally, setting the South African record. Let's discuss what this record-breaking sale means for local women artists and the representation of African artists on the international landscape with Marelize van Zyl, the CEO of Aspire Art, an art consultancy and auctioneering outlet. Good morning, Marelize, and thank you so much for your time.
Hi, good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
First and foremost, before we get into this incredible masterpiece that has broken records, what do we know about Marlene Dumas and her history? Who is she?
So you've rightly mentioned she was born in Cape Town. She is very much a local talent. She grew up in Kuils River in Cape Town, went to school in the Boerland, and then went to study at the Michaelis School of Fine Art, University of Cape Town. And at a very, very early stage, her talent has been seen. She left South Africa in 1976 to further her studies in Amsterdam. She received a bursary, and then from there, the rest was just history. She really very quickly got international acclaim for her painting. She brought a new way of painting to the industry, layer upon layer. Marlene is she's really fascinating. People interest her, people behavior interest her. She doesn't shy away from complex issues, be that personal or political or socio-cultural. So she really does tackle subjects that I think a broader audience will feel uncomfortable with, but she turns it around and puts it back to us. And that is what makes her work so incredibly successful, is that it makes you stop and think what it is that you're looking at. And for us in the industry and throughout history, that is the purpose of art, to make you stop and think and have a look.
Now, how would you describe the historical masterpiece, Miss January, and the themes that it revisits?
So Miss January is a larger-than-life portrait. As I mentioned previously, she is a figurative painter. So she presents us with a female portrait, monumental. The work is almost 3 meters in height. And it was painted in 1997 for her solo exhibition in Amsterdam the following year, titled Miss World. But what is interesting about this work, and Marlene in general, she usually flips the script. So you would think the ideal woman or the ideal candidate for a Miss World competition would look a certain way. But Marlene took a photograph from an erotic magazine and then presented it back to us. So this figure is painted almost quite vulnerable and detached, scantily clothed. She's got a see-through vest on with a pink sockie on her right foot. And it really challenges the viewer. It's really big and it's in your face. But with this, Marlene gives us very, very subtle and very serious critique about the objectification of women's bodies throughout art history and social history in the media and in art.
Now, can you maybe take us through, first and foremost, what does it take, firstly, for an artist's work to be seen on a global stage, but also what does it take to get to an auction where pieces are sold at that price?
So this specific work belonged to the Rubel family, and they are a very renowned collectors duo. They are a married couple from America. They've been collecting since the 1960s, but they've got a very fresh and new approach to their collection. So they were the first private collectors who started collecting African American work, and then they were also looking at other forms of contemporary and creative production, and especially from the global south. So someone like Marlene would have interested them. It is a different way of seeing it, is a different way of communicating. So first of all, this work carried immense provenance. It belonged to a very renowned collectors family. Since it was purchased, it was shown in major museum exhibitions for over 10 years, returned to the United States. The Rubel family also have 2 museums in Miami and in Washington, so it was further exhibited there. Then also this provenance is a very big thing for an artwork because it's a contributor of its value, and this work also has got literature provenance of almost a kilometer long. So all the critics, all the art historians, all the social historians, if they write about issues of womanhood, identity, gender issues, they will use this work as a primary example to illustrate very, very serious topics. So it is a very serious work. It does carry a lot of weight, and then it was brought to market. Marlene is 71 years old, so she is a very well known. She's been topping the charts for quite a while, alongside an artist like William Kentridge as well. They are seen as the most influential artists from Africa or South Africa. And so she has paid her dues in terms of being an artist. But for other artists, you don't have to be in Europe or in America. You can create from our continent, from our country. The world has become much smaller with digital platforms. And there really, really is an interest in contemporary African art. For the past 20 years, we've seen investors and collectors looking at Africa. We are an emerging market. There are immense talent. The subjects are fascinating. The new and innovative ways of using materials are getting attention. So the spotlight is on our continent. And it is also, investors and collectors are also looking at African contemporary art because they do want to diversify their collections as well. For too long, art history and collections have been dominated by a Eurocentric narrative, and to bring other forms of creative expression in does diversify it. More importantly, this work, we don't only see it as a record-breaking result. For women artists, it really shows that female perspectives do carry power, and it has immense value. We all know in many, many industries, and so in art as well, women has been pushed to the side a little bit. We also see this as a correction of the inconsistencies in the art market. Male artists still command higher prices than female artists. So this is very, very exciting to see that we are seeing that correction and that change in perspective. And we trust that it will inspire collectors and investors to really look at our pool of creative female artists in South Africa and the broader continent.